Hey everyone, today in this video, I'm going to be checking out the NARWAL. This is their Freo robot vacuum and mop. NARWAL did send me the sample, but any opinion expressed in this video is strictly my own. That being said, if you're interested in this product or you want to find out more about it, the link to it will be in the video description. Here's a look at the retail box and packaging. Pretty nondescript, but we do have a NARWAL sticker on the side right there with some product info. And then we can keep rotating the box around till we're back at the very front. Now let's open it up and see what's inside. Here are all the contents. First up, we have our product literature consisting of a quick start guide that walks us through first use instructions and our touchscreen function controls right here at the top of our station. Next, we have a full user guide and manual right here walking us through everything we need to know about our new robot vacuum and mop. Very detailed and thorough with charts, diagrams, controls, settings, tech specs, all of that can be viewed in this manual. Next, you'll see an included bottle of cleaning solution. So 31 ounces of lemon and basil floor cleaner, NARWAL's branding. We can insert this directly into the base, which is great, so it can dispense automatically. Next, you'll see our two side cleaning brushes labeled R and L for us, respectively. We have our power cord and cable right here. And last but not least, we have the unit and the vacuum mop. Let's go ahead and take a look at these in more detail. First up, we'll look at the top of our NARWAL Freo right here. We got the NARWAL logo and branding, LiDAR navigation module, power control button right here. So one quick click to have it clean the whole house. Press and hold for 3 seconds to power on or off. We have an open indicator right here, so we can pop open the top cover to reveal our internal dustbin that is removable, easy to clean, empty and maintain as needed. So we can go ahead, we can push that to open it up to get access to the inside right there. We also have a built-in multi-purpose cleaning tool and a reset button, as well as a QR code inside the unit right there, all accessible from the top. Now looking at the side of the vacuum, you'll notice here we have some sensors to help with navigation, as well as our navigational bumper, charging contacts right there on both sides, white and gray color scheme. We also have another sensor on this side of the bumper. We can flip it over underneath. We can see where we install the left and right side cleaning brushes. We have spring-loaded drive wheels, our main brush roller right here with a bristle and rubber design. Easy to clean as needed, and that just snaps right back in place. Additional product info, cliff sensors all throughout. And then you'll see right here we have our mopping modules that will spin and rotate, as well as our omnidirectional wheel right here at the bottom. Now onto the base station, looking at it from the top, our touch control panel and display right there. We can also open up this lid to reveal our dirty water tank and clean water tank. Both are clearly labeled for us. Looking at both tanks, we'll start with the dirty water tank. So we have that clear design on it. And you'll notice when we open it up, a little bit different internally than the clean water tank. We have a float mechanism right here to let it know when it's full. Nice seal there, grip handle to easily pull out and dump out as needed. And our clean water tank has that nice bluish purple color here with the max fill indicator on both sides, clearly labeled for us. And we can open that up to see the inside here, a little bit different internally. They do give you a couple extra of those filters at the bottom in the box, so don't lose those. You'll also notice we can go ahead and twist off this little cap right there if we want to fill it up that way without having to remove the whole cover here. So a couple different ways you can get access to fill this up. And NARWAL has the attention to detail here. We got the NARWAL logo and branding on both of the clips right there on the tanks. And here's a look at the station with both tanks removed. On the clean water tank side, if I tip this up and back a little bit, you'll notice down here, that's actually where we're going to be able to install the included floor cleaning solution. So it does fit right here on the inside of the clean water tank side. So when you need to replace that solution, that's where you're going to do it. And you definitely want to install that in your machine. Next up, let's look at the front of the unit. We got the NARWAL logo and branding up at the top. Down at the bottom here, inside we have our charging contacts and two removable trays. So we can take both of these trays out right here for easy cleaning. So this is how it's going to be able to wash and clean the mop for us. And when this gets dirty, we can easily take those out to clean any debris or dirt that's collected after it cleans itself. And there's a look inside with it all removed. Left side profile with grip handle with silver accent. Right side profile with grip handle and silver accent. Here's a look at the back side with product info and our power cord plug right there. And here's a look at the very bottom. The ramp has a honeycomb design up here towards the top of the video. And you'll see we have 5 different grip points for the unit as it rests on your floor. Now let's go ahead and get this set up. All right, with our first clean out of the way, let's take a look at the results. First, we're gonna start with the dustbin here, and we'll see everything that's inside. I'll be careful to flip it over to reveal everything that we vacuumed up around my house. Tons of crumbs. I see a little, I don't know what that's, little rubber band, some packing material, a lot of food crumbs, some stickers, tons of pet hair and human hair in there. Pretty disgusting, but a nice haul for the first go around there. And you'll notice we also have some really fine dirt and dust particles on the lid that are captured in the dustbin, which is great. That shows you the effectiveness of the filter. It's actually trapping everything right where it needs to be versus exhausting it right back out in your house. So there's your typical household contents that you can expect for this vacuum. Now I'll show you the inside with it removed. Looks great, nice and clean still. tiny bit of dust on the inside vacuum channel right there, leading to the dustbin and the roller. And flipping it over, we'll look at the side cleaning brushes. Surprisingly, no tangles here. Typically, every once in a while, you'll find some hairs wrapped around the side cleaning brushes, so make sure to keep an eye on that. But you'll notice the main brush roller right here does have some tangles and debris, some carpet threads from our shag rug, and then a lot of hair trapped on the main brush roller. So get a feel for what you can expect there. They do have that cleaning tool on the other side that you can use to easily detangle and clean this brush roller as needed. The Freo X series has a redesigned roller brush that, doing this exact same clean, won't have any tangles on it. So if hair is your top priority and issue, that's going to be a worthwhile upgrade for you. And then moving right along here, you'll notice we have our mop pads. They're nice and clean and dry. I do see some slight discoloration around the edges, so just make sure every once in a while, you might still want to manually wash and clean them yourself to keep them stain free. Moving right along, I wanted to show you the base station to get a feel for, after the washing and drying, how this looks and what you can expect. So we'll go ahead, we'll pop this cover off. Just a little bit of hair. Not bad at all, but super easy to wash and rinse that out. And then looking at the very bottom plate, same thing. A little bit of dirt residue here. Looks like it dried and evaporated the water and just left behind a little bit of dirt and dust that was in the water there, but super simple to take those out, wash, and dry as needed. Let's quickly go over the NARWAL app. Here's a look at the main screen for our Freo device, where we can view different cleaning modes. We can also enter into the vacuum, and we'll be taken to our main screen showing us our detailed map, our cleaning modes at the bottom. We can also do room or zone cleaning. We can view our cleaning history, hit the play button, start cleaning. We have a lot of map options and customization from those icons on the right-hand side. We also have our station controls. So if we wanted to wash and dry the mops, we can do that. Here's our accessory breakdown with our detergent. We can manage all of that and see each individual item and when it's time to maintain. So it's a very detailed app. We have more settings in the top right-hand corner. The settings gear icon takes us to our typical robot settings if we ever need to locate the robot, share the robot, restart our robot or the network. We have all those settings there. Then we have our cleaning preferences. Highly recommend turning on edge mode. Basically, it will wiggle the robot to clean along the edges. It will take a little bit longer, but definitely worthwhile if you have the time to spare. Then we'll go into our general settings. There's some really cool settings in here. The first one, stairless mode. So if you are in a stair-free environment, you can toggle that on. That will help with thresholds. Really cool that we have that option. And we have high altitude mode. Haven't seen that before outside of NARWAL devices. So pretty cool that we have a couple of unique features for this vacuum. Then you'll notice we have more base station settings here. We can toggle on or off, adding the detergent, and we can choose our drying intensity. And further down, we have our map editing options here. We can set no-go zones, so you can choose areas where it won't vacuum or mop, or vacuum and mop. Drag and drop, super simple to configure your map. So it's a very simple and straightforward app to navigate and find exactly the setting that you're looking for to get the clean exactly how you want it. Now let's see how it stacks up against the competition. So we'll be comparing it to the over 60 plus robot vacuums that I've personally tested and reviewed. We'll look at some key metrics and go over the data and get a better feel for the value of this unit, specifically when compared to your average or typical robot vacuum cleaner. First up, we're looking at max suction power. This is measured in PAs. We have a 3000 PA rating for this vacuum. That's actually substantially low compared to the competition. You'll notice the average is about 2000 PAs greater, and usually the higher this value, the better your actual real world clean will be. It's not always the case, but usually the higher the better. And same thing can be said with max CFM. We measure this result in-house, but you want to see a larger value here to have more confidence in the clean that you're gonna get. We're about 2 points under the average in relation to CFM and your typical average robot vac. But the good news here is, although we're below average in both of those key metrics, you'll notice in the actual real world deep cleaning, we're above average. So they're getting more out of less, which is great to see. If you're wondering too, with NARWAL's other products, we've tried them all. So they have the X Plus and the X Ultra. Those get similar cleaning scores as well, 95, and we got a perfect score with the X Ultra. So all well within range and all above average, which is great. So for NARWAL as a whole, they're definitely on the upper echelon of deep cleaning in the real world. Moving right along to decibels, with this value, the larger it is, the louder your vacuum will be. We always conduct this test vacuuming carpet with all max suction and carpet settings enabled, and we're 1 decibel above average here. No noticeable difference between your average vac at 70 and this one at 71. But you'll notice this next metric, battery life measured in minutes, we're above average, which is what we want to be. The larger this value, the longer it's going to run for. 50 minutes above average. So you get an extra 50 minutes of runtime with this vacuum versus your typical one. And the reason why we have that excellent runtime is our large battery capacity, almost 1500 milliamp hours greater than your average battery capacity. Next, let's talk about height. This is measured in inches, 4.2 inches in height for our vacuum here. That's going to be about 1/2 inch above the average, but that average consists of a lot of vacuums that don't have LiDAR navigation. If we look at just LiDAR equipped vacuums, that average is closer to about 4 inches, so we're well within that range. NARWAL's vacuums tend to run just a smidge taller, as you can see with the data here, but just visually looking at it, it is going to be just a little bit taller than your typical LiDAR equipped vacuum. Next, let's talk about dustbin capacity. This is measured in milliliters. We have a 480 milliliter dustbin capacity, which as you see is 60 milliliters above the average. Typically, you'll find when a vacuum doesn't support self-empty, they have larger internal dustbins to prevent frequent trips to the trash can. Next up is mop lift height. This is measured in millimeters. The higher this value, the more lift it's going to have to get your mop pad up and off the floor to hopefully not make any contact with your carpets or rugs. In this case, we're 2 millimeters above average. Definitely want to continue to see that number climb, but there's only so much they can do regardless of the brand with all that they've crammed into these vacuums and their small and compact form factor. So iRobot does something really interesting where they actually have one model that lifts it up and out of the way completely, and Dreamy has a couple models now that they're smart enough to detach the pads in the station, so they leave them behind as they go vacuum, then you can come back, pick them up, and do the mopping. So a lot of brands out there are getting very creative with how they're handling basically being at a fixed spot where you just can't improve it any further. Next up, let's talk about edge swing. This is a feature on NARWAL vacuums, and it's really unique and cool. It's just a way to maximize the vacuum, being able to give you a little bit better coverage with how it's able to swing and pivot and position itself. Some other brands offer a similar solution, and some have taken it a step further where they have like the side cleaning brush pops out to get those corners, or the mop pad kicks out to get some of those hard to reach areas in the corner or along baseboards and your walls. Next, let's talk about mop wash. Since this is a mopping robot, it's really cool that it has the ability to go back home, wash itself, get itself nice and clean to continue to give you clean floors every clean. And not only does it wash itself, it also dries itself too, which is pretty cool. So you don't have to even worry about any of that. It's truly hands-free, maintenance-free. So now you're probably wondering, hey, how much does this cost? Well, that's a great question. So compared to your average robot vac, this is going to cost a couple $100s more, but you are getting above average cleaning performance and some pretty substantial upgrades in regards to its feature set. Having the ability to have mop wash and mop dry, as well as advanced software navigation that this unit has, really does come at a price. But in this case, it's actually a really good value when we look at it through the lens of its competitors that offer something similar. This is going to be on the more affordable side than some of those other ones that would cost tens of hundreds of dollars more than this vacuum. With all that out of the way, now let me share with you my final thoughts. Here's what you need to know. So when you think about this vacuum, think about mopping first. It's a little bit underpowered suction-wise, even though in our carpet deep cleaning test, it performed really well. So really hard to dock at points there, but technically it is. But in regards to mopping, it is very, very advanced. Washing, drying, solution adding, beautiful touch display on the dock too. It's got a really cool setup and screen, super high-end and premium. I really like the station on this vacuum. Now, when we think about shortcomings, it's going to be object recognition. It's really not up to par with the technology and sensor suites that are available today. So that definitely has a lot of room for improvement. And the second one, I'm only docking it for the main brush roller because NARWAL has the X Plus and the X Ultra that are basically the spiritual successors to this model that has a redesigned brush roller that is the best one we've ever used for hair tangles, whether that's human hair or pet hair. It's phenomenal. So since it doesn't have that roller, it's going to be like your typical robot vacuum where you'll have to maintain the brush roller fairly frequently depending on your household. So again, best thing, mopping, the station, all of the above. And the worst thing is going to be object recognition and having to still maintain your main brush roller when NARWAL has other options out there that have the redesigned one, which is the best one that we've seen. And I don't know how I could forget, but the Freo doesn't have self-empty, which is definitely a bummer. But the good news is they do offer that now on the Freo X Ultra with a really unique setup with a disposable vacuum bag.